Hey. Hey, are we on? We're on. Hey, everybody. It's me, Leslie. Zazoo Plazz. My higher self over here. Yeah, it's we're teaming up here today. Notice anything different? Oh man, I still got the sticker on. December 1st. Oh, okay. Let's I'll deal with that later. Um, that's so much better. I was gonna go out with the sticker on. All right, December 1st. December 1st, 2024. Sag season, baby. You gotta love it. I'm here. Bells on. I survived Thanksgiving. Woo! Hi, everybody. I'm showing up with my look. I got my Christmas pug. I plugged in. I plugged it in. I what? Plug in your PC. Okay. What? I have to put it over here. Wait a minute. Okay. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Is that working? Is that working? Hold on. Hold on. Are we? Are we? Are we? No, we're not. Oh boy. Power. Estimating time. What? God. Okay. I gotta stop. All right. Here we are. Take two. I charged up. Okay. I'm gonna try to link the two, so I'm not gonna start over again. Yeah, I think I can put these two videos together. Mercury retrograde season is upon us. Anyway. Oh man. So I was just showing you my pug socks, my pug Christmas socks. See, it's got little pugs on there, and see the other. See, so I'm pulling out the Christmas pug socks, and I got a new top this week. I think I got it at the thrift store where I get all my fabulous finds, and Sag new moon today. This is great. I finally found some glasses, uh, and they're great. They have all these they have the little cases you can put them in. I'm wearing the turquoise ones today. They're kind of cool, no? And I got. Let's try. Oh, I get the pink ones. So is it pink? Pink. So I'll try one pair every week. Uh, you know, um, so we'll see what looks good. And I could also wear the purple today, because for Advent starts today. I can wear the purple, but I was just feeling the turquoise for some reason. I'm gonna wear the turquoise. I'll wear the purple next time, maybe. Oh, and I got yellow too. I got yellow. Look at these. Yeah. So that was my Black Friday. These are my Black Friday purchase. And I got myself some new black moccasins because I like to wear those, like, instead of slippers, because I'm not really a cushy slipper kind of person. You know, I I usually like to wear like stuff that has, I don't know. I guess I'm more of an LL Bean kind of girl. Um, but the LL Bean moccasins are like, you gotta like take out a second mortgage to buy them. So I just get them on the other, get them on Amazon. They were like $23 or something. Very nice. But I get the same brand I got last time. And I realized that when I was up, I haven't bought myself a new pair of moccasins in like 4 or 5 years, and they were falling apart. They were like, why did I not notice? And they still had dog hair from my dog. And it was, and so I'm purging all these things, right? Speaking of my dog, she's going to be 15 tomorrow, December 2nd. She was born in 2009. We went and picked her out when she was a puppy. Oh, she was so cute, just a little fluff ball. And now she's 15. We have to move. My texting with my ex-husband. He said he's got to move her little doggy bed. She's in the corner where we usually put the tree. He got everything out. He went up. The boys had Thanksgiving at his house with his two cousins, his bachelor cousins, who come when they don't have anywhere else to go. So the boys, my youngest son was home from college, and the older one came up from New Haven. He's visiting his girlfriend's mother and family in New Jersey, so he takes her down there. And she goes to school at Yale. But when the boys were up, they helped their dad bring down all the Christmas stuff from the attic, the tree and all the everything. So he's got all the lights up. He's got it, getting all the tree, and everything would be in the middle of the kitchen in the living room for about a week when I lived at home. And when the kids were little, it was the most chaotic time of the year because you'd have cats, dogs, kids running everywhere, and I'm just trying to get to the laundry and make the meals, and all this shit would be in the way. And I don't know how I survived that. I don't, because that is the opposite of how I like to handle things. But and now he's on top of everything. Now that I'm not there, maybe it was just me. Maybe I was just in the way the whole time. See, all these things are starting to occur to me. It's like, was it just me? Was I in the way? We were just constantly, I'd be cooking in the kitchen, and he would just, I think that we were, in the same space. He and I were, we had some kind of, uh, mystic psychic energy, and we were, so I'd be turning around to go to the stove, and he'd be coming from the fridge, and we, ow, oh, that hurt. Oh, we, ow, I just wrapped my own knuckles. Um, yeah, and it would hurt because he's heavier than me, and he would knock me across the room. So we couldn't stay in that space. So, sometimes, ow, I cracked my knuckles. I'm in this space right now, um, and it's Sagittarius season. I have three inner personal planets: Mercury, Venus, and Mars in Sag. I have a stellium. That's when you have three planets, in a sign. And it's the more personal, probably the stronger it is. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, and that rules communication, right? So when I communicate, Sagittarius. Now these are, if you're not familiar, and it's the new moon, which is beginnings, and it's time to set some intentions. So, but when you set, I do a new moon check every month, and I list all the things that I want to manifest, that I want from the universe, and I keep it fairly, fairly specific, but still leave some wiggle room. Like the universe delivers in its own time, but I try to tailor each month's requests to use kind of like keywords, you use online. Try to put some of the, my intentions along with the energy. In other words, Sag is, Sagittarius people. Or if you have Sagittarius in your chart, I mean, we all do, but if you have planets or points in Sag, funny, optimistic, hopeful, adventurous, and philosophical, honest, blunt, direct, and freedom loving. Okay, so here we go. So, like when you're making intentions, it's just a little freebie I'll throw in. Um, you to say, things like, "Oh, maybe I be guided to adventures that will help me, my soul to evolve," or um, let's see, maybe I use my optimism to bring, attract, like-minded people. something, or make jokes to lighten the environment, lighten the air, lighten the mood or something. Sages are great at parties, but like all the centaurs, that was the symbol, half man, half horse, half, yeah, they were men mostly. Um, I think there were female centaurs. I think there was one or two in myth. But they would clomp around and sort of go to parties and get drunk and spill things, and people would get shot, stung with arrows, shot with poison arrows, and I mean, they kind of took it too far, which is because Sag is ruled by planet Jupiter, which is expansive. It's a big planet. It expands everything it touches. It goes big, right? Go big or go home, right? So, and the band this week fits in with this energy too. And the first Sunday in Advent. So usually, um, Advent, for those who weren't raised Catholic, like I was, but I find that I have to say this again. Even the the seasons of the Catholic Church that I grew up observing, I've noticed, and this is what I talk about in my Zazoo reports a lot. I'm noticing parallels, between the church calendar and sort of the nature calendar. The stars, the moon, astrological stuff, and just like and it gels with me. I'm taking it along with me. Uh, so there are parallels between the earliest say pagan nature rituals, just by going with the seasons, and the astrological signs, the heavens. So it's all connected, right? Um, yeah. And so the more you pay attention to these things, the more sense it starts to make. And what I do is I'm philosophical, sage. I'm putting together my own philosophy. And I'm not selling it to you, I'm not preaching it to you. I'm merely showing you, you know, um, because I think I felt confused and I felt a lack of a philosophy when I was, growing up, or maybe in past lives or something. And now I'm sort of putting things together and um, putting all the pieces together. It's kind of like I feel like I've been a freelancer, consultant, you know, and I'm nearing the I think I'm coming to the point where, okay, I think I'm getting it now. And I'm finishing things up and tying loose ends, dotting the I's, crossing the T. Anyway, so yeah. Um, and it's funny. My son, my oldest son, his moon is in Sag. And I get random texts from him. He's 24. So he was home this weekend, and I guess from the picture he sent me, he was in the basement looking through some old photos and things his dad, had strewn around. I'm sure that he's helping him get, ready, which is good. And he made his stuffing. I still don't know how it tasted, but um, my ex-husband said, "Oh, that's way to go, guiding him through it," because apparently he did bring it for dinner, and I guess it went okay. I haven't heard back as to how it tasted, but he sent me a picture and it looked really good. So I'm assuming it was edible and everybody was happy. So he sends me this picture, this baby picture, where he's in his little bouncy chair and he's just like 3 or 4 months, and he has one little hand over here, and he looks, real wide eyed, and his head was so round because he had a big head as a kid. He had a lot of, he was in, big head, a lot of information in there, even then, you know. So he says, "Is this me?" And of course, he wouldn't have known because he's got a brother. And as babies, brothers, they kind of look a little alike. But I can tell the difference, because I'm the mom. And I mean, you could tell. And there was no, one kid was a baby in the spring, summer, and the other one in the fall, winter. So it's easy to tell based on what they're wearing. But sometimes they had a certain look where you were like, wait, is that? We'd go, wait, what kid was that? Anyway, there was no question with me. I was an only child. But so I've been scanning slides and finding pictures of myself that I don't think I've ever even seen. Baby pictures, pictures of cousins. I'm like, who are those kids? They were all like my cousins the year before I was born, my boomer cousins at Halloween. Like, who are those kids? One of them was like little Red Riding Hood, and like, what was he like? Like, I don't know what he was dressed, Robin Hood or something. I don't know. My cousins. So that was funny, and so yeah, so that'll be a whole other Zazoo. But so so my oldest son, he's in New Jersey, and I said, oh, by the way, I have um, a cousin who's a Gen X cousin. He's 3 years younger than me, John, who's living there with his wife now. Not his. He had 3 kids, got married the same year we did, and had 3 kids, and this is his second wife. So they're in New Jersey. I'm like, oh, maybe they're near where you are. So I'm thinking New Jersey today is on my mind. So that's a little hint. I mean, it's obvious with the bands, but okay. So talking about Sag, and I'll try to stick to the topic, but Sagittarius kind of wanders all over the place. So bear with me, and it's Mercury retrograde. So Prophet Jeremiah, God, it's about, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to go through the reading, and here goes my voice. And I picked out some of the words in the reading that sound Sagittarian like. Um, so God is the prophet Jeremiah. It's like Jerry's. Um, God is going to fulfill the promise made to Israel. Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. From the line of David, right? And the words right and just come out. And those are Sag words. Justice is kind of a Libra thing, but the self-righteous kind of attitude is Sagittarius. It's just, it's right. I will defend what I believe, is the truth. They want to know the truth with Sag, not just Libra is more of a balanced kind of justice. Sag is more of like, I believe this and this is true, until I change my mind and then something else is true. But um, the Lord is our justice. So those are the words, right, just. So, yeah. And then the Psalm, to you, O Lord, I lift my soul. So there's this lifting with Sag, this optimistic, hopeful. My soul lifts. I'm optimistic. Teach me your paths. So paths is kind of like taking a trip, which is also very Sagittarius. Traveling, lifting is optimism, hope. Paths, yeah, travel, like going up the mountain. Well, that's Capricorn. But having an adventure, expansiveness, going to all kinds of places. And then we have Paul to the Thessalonians, the first book. May the Lord make you increase and abound in love for one another and all. Strengthen our hearts, keep us blameless in holiness. So, at his coming. So, Paul is talking about, the coming. It's going to be a surprise, and he's keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what Jesus taught you to do. He's talking to the early Christians, right? To say, and this applies to us now, right? So it's talking about judgment can come any day, right? There will be signs. Luke 21, the gospel. Jesus told his disciples, Jesus said this to his friends. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, right? I mean, well, it's a new moon, but nations will be in dismay, perplexed by the roaring of the sea and the waves. People dying of fright of what is to come, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. All right, I mean, some of this has happened, right? Haven't people been, you know, like what the heck is going on, climate change and all the storms and the, I didn't need to tell you. If you're living on the earth, you know. Um, so I thought, you know what? But Paul is saying, keep doing what you're doing. In other words, if you know you're on the right path, keep simplifying your lives. Get rid of what's not important. Prioritize your energy. Keep your energy high, right? Purge, heal. Get rid of your attitudes and things from the past that don't serve, which is what Jesus came to teach us by example and by his words. But they're talking about you will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and glory. So it says to stand tall. Stand up, hold your head up high, and don't. It says don't be drowsy. Don't be all nervous. Don't be anxious. It says don't be carousing and drunk. In other words, don't fall back to your previous behaviors. If you're on the spiritual path, right? Now keep your energy. You know what you have to do to keep your energy high. He's saying here, don't fall back into your bad habits. Whatever it was. If it was, drinking too much, partying too much, eating too much, Jupiter rules excess. What do you do too much? Too much social media, too much complaining, too much. Even good things can be done to excess. You know, if they cause you to sort of lose your way. You know, um, too much gossiping, too much. Um, yeah, not treating your body right. Too much spending time in self-defeating thoughts. That cause you to lose hope and sort of spiral downward. Those are all things to avoid, right? So as much as possible, you have to, pray for the strength to escape the trials, and stand before God. In other words, if you were to stand before God today in judgment, what, where would you be? Take sort of like everybody's wearing those like fitness rings and everything, and they're more concerned about their stats of their body than they are of their soul. If they had a ring where you could wear and say, how is my spiritual fitness coming along, and have a little screen pop up, Google Soul Fitness or whatever, and tell you, oh yeah, not so good, or you do more of this. What you have to do is, of course, balance it, but spend some time in your spiritual fitness, right? Because if you raise that, right, if you raise your vibration, then the other lower stuff falls away. You don't need to deal with it. Spend time in the higher things. Raise your energy, and then things will naturally flow in your life. That's what I've been doing. Anyway, the sun. Um, so I did this Facebook post today about, it was a joke about ventriloquist dummy and raising your hand, because you got to put your hand in the dummy. Anyway, yeah. Bon Jovi. Raise Your Hands. Now, this one, I don't know if it was released as a single. I don't think it was. It was on their third album, Slippery When Wet, 1986, released August 18th, 86. So there's information on the album, but not so much on the song. And I thought, it's just good, raise your hand, because we're talking about a savior being raised up from the line of David, raised up, raise your hand, And so, yeah, so let's just talk about the song. It's been 8 weeks. The album spent 8 weeks at number one, top selling album of 1987, and their best selling album to date. It went 15 times platinum. And, I thought some of the songs, okay, John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, and Desmond Child wrote some of them. And it didn't say which, who wrote Raise Your Hands. But I'm going to bet that probably John Bon Jovi had something to do with it. And so the band, the whole band. So yeah, it was interesting. So they named the album Slippery When Wet because they were at a strip club in Vancouver, British Columbia, and they saw this stripper on a pole, and she was taking a shower and all getting all soapy and sliding down the pole. Anyway, they said the testosterone level was pretty high, I guess, at the time. So anyway, but they, with the songs in this album, obviously, when this came out, I was 20. I was 20 years old. Yeah, almost 21. Almost 21. So yeah, I mean, the 80s. The 80s were Bon Jovi. Living on a Prayer was, it was their anthem, and it was probably most of us Gen Xers too. And that was Living on a Prayer. But we're told in the Jesus said to pray. Paul said, pray for strength. So living on a prayer. Um, but critics, when they sort of attacked Bon Jovi for serving up, one guy said, serving up condescending sentiment, reducing emotional statements to cliche. So his opinion was either he was talking down to teenagers, us teenagers at the time, or that's all they were capable of. Um, yeah, so I don't think either one was true. I didn't feel condescended, talked down to. I was 20 years old at the time. You know, the and maybe I do use a lot of cliches. Maybe we like cliches. But for whatever reason it resonated with us. I love Living on it. I love all these songs. And I can't imagine, I was thinking, I can't imagine the 80s without them, without Bon Jovi. I mean, it was, riding around in your car, living on a prayer. Take my hand and make it, I swear. You know, I. So this song I hadn't really heard. I mean, I probably did hear it, but it's a classic Bon Jovi song. But some of the lyrics, you're under the gun, you're on the run. Set the night on fire. Sag, fire sign. Um, let a feeling show, and that's expressive. Sagittarius, let your feelings show, not hesitant at all to put it all out there. New York to Chicago, New Jersey to Tokyo. That's traveling, right? So it's a really good song. So watch the video, and you just can't help but feel uplifted and good when you listen to Bon Jovi. And Bon Jovi itself means, I think, good feelings or good Jovi, like jovial, you know? So there's that. It's funny. John Bon Jovi didn't think living on a Prayer was good enough to put on the album. And it ended up being, and Richie Sambora convinced him to put it on there, and it ended up being his signature song, right? So I think that's just so funny. Um, that sometimes if you find the right people to work with you who really see you and can really add something to your work, that's what I'm looking for too. I'm looking for somebody that I can work with who sees things that I don't see, sees sort of, from a higher vantage point, and has a different, not yes people, but rather people who add something to what you're, putting out there, um, and can sort of, you know, work with you when you're stuck, get you unstuck, right? Because then it's always a better product. So, and then so I guess that's kind of all. Um, Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna head off now, and yeah, I had my little Thanksgiving. I I made myself Brussels sprouts. I made a pumpkin pie. I put half of it in the freezer. So, but because I get sick of it, you know, you could just have so much pumpkin pie and then put it away and take it out again. And so I'm going to clean out the freezer for the next few days and, figure out a way to start making my Christmas list. Text my kids, say, all right, let me know. One thing, I'll get to you guys one thing, either a gift card or something practical, and then something fun, you know. And I've got to get all that sorted because with Mercury retrograde, just be advised. All right, you might buy stuff, and then when Mercury goes forward, you're like having to return stuff because it's the wrong thing or the wrong size, and yeah, just whatever. Get them a gift card; they'll use it. So, yeah. So living on a prayer. Uh, yeah, not a bad thought for Mercury retrograde season. So until next week, um, raising my hand. Goodbye. Zazoo Plazz signing out. See you next week. Same place, different time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.